always move. Physically move. Whenever I feel overwhelmed, whenever I feel whelmed.
We don't say overwhelmed in our family.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of our podcast.
Technically the first episode. We filmed this last week and it didn't record, so we're trying again.
Yes, and so I will start it off like we did on the first podcast and ask Maddie a very important question. How does it feel to be giving birth in about a week and a half and running a multi-million-dollar company and running a company with your husband and all, there's so much stuff in that, but how do you feel?
I'm pregnant?
Yeah.
What? I feel normal right now. I think the funny part is I'm going through mood changes faster. I don't know. Maybe I'm being more moody than usual, but that's not what I mean. I'm feeling like excited then nervous, then excited then nervous, then organized, and I'm switching very quick between moods. That's what I've noticed this week. More excitement than last week, but also more nerves, and I switch way faster. So that's a big change this week, just trying to calm down and breathe and realizing that even though our lives are going to change forever, could be tomorrow at this point, we don't know when the baby's going to come, it's going to change for the better, and change doesn't have to be scary. It's just unknown, so I don't have any frame of reference to compare it to. But I'm feeling good. Energy's okay. Sleep is okay. I'm not sleeping through the night. I'm peeing, 3 times every hour. So I like to sleep on the couch. So I'm closer to the bathroom now. And the only other downside would be, I think my ankles are almost cankles. I think they're almost getting there. But other than that, life is pretty normal for now. I don't know how, I know we talked about this last week. Has anything changed this week? How quickly is things changing in your head?
Well, I definitely feel a change as a man. And I feel like I've always been ambitious. Maddie and I started our first company when we were 20. And so we've always had goals we were setting, but the goals were for us, right? Well, we wanted to accomplish for us. And which was exciting. When I had Maddie come into my life, everything came together. I started to make more money. We started to have a lot more good things happen. I think it was just because good things started happening for me because of responsibility. And now I have a baby and I'm responsible for the baby. And it's life. We have employees and we have our businesses and we have all these things and taxes. And in reality, that's just life. And you learn to deal with that. But having a baby is a person and that person is dependent on you. I think it really has changed my mindset of being a better person, being sharper, not allowing myself to have more excuses, not allowing myself to be a victim, not allowing myself to fail and not get up. You're allowed to fail, but not, and I think that's really important to me, and I really feel that, and I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for the fact that you're carrying my child. I'm grateful for the fact that we get to start and tackle businesses together. So it makes me have a deeper appreciation for what we have together. But yeah, it's my first child, and a lot of people start giving you their advice now as a parent, right? They start giving you their advice as a parent, and the only advice that really stuck with me was, don't tell your child to do something that you wouldn't do.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of parents telling their children to do things that they wouldn't do. And I want to be a good husband. I want to be a good man, a good businessman. I want to be a healthy man. So if I have a daughter or if I have a son, the things that I'm telling them to do, I'm embodying it. So that's a big change for me, because I don't get to sit on the couch one day and be like, I don't get to get up early and just sit back and relax. Like, no, I have somebody watching and I have to be a role model.
Yeah, I think you can't escape being a hypocrite. I think that's just human nature and the everybody's story in some way. But I think if you consciously recognize that is something that you could fall into, then you can avoid it, right? And that makes you a better leader. That makes you worth listening to, right? We are getting lots of parenting advice, and everybody's saying, oh, just wait till they grow up and they're teenagers. And it's like, I'm not going to just believe that. Like, it's not like all teenagers have to be brats and all teenagers have to hate their parents. Whatever comes, but I'm just not going to believe everything everybody tells us, because we want to do this our own way. We are going to consciously not be hypocrites, right? If we were going to be fit, we're going to be healthy, we're going to work hard, we're going to have tough conversations. Like, we're going to do the stuff that creates leaders. And so I'm excited about that. And I think talking about that together is very important because it helps to shut out all the opinions of the other people that we're getting. We're about like technically 2 weeks out from our due date right now, but it could come tomorrow or it could come a month from now, whenever it wants
to come. Right now.
My water could break in 2 seconds. No, it didn't happen. And so I'm getting a ton of messages, right? Like, ooh, are you excited? Are you nervous? When's the due date? Which annoys the shit out of me, right? Like, first time mom, leave me alone. I'm trying to get in the zone. So I'm literally texting all these people back. I even had my close friends from high school. They're like, let's jump on a group chat tonight. I'm like, nope, I can't. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to, and one of my close friends just had a baby too. And I want to see her baby and I want to hear all about her birth story, but I want to protect our story first and then hear somebody else's. Like, I really don't want expectations. I don't want advice. I don't want other people's emotions about the situation. I really want to listen to where we're at mentally and let whatever's going to come, all the emotions come naturally and flow and not avoid them and not have them be someone else's either. So I don't know where I was going with that, but stop texting me.
Yes.
That's where I'm going with that.
Leave her alone. I really think with anything with business, it is different from a family. You can run your family like a business, right? We have family meetings, we have relationship meetings, but with a business, you have to be in your head. You have to think logically. And that makes sense. You have to think about your expenses, your profit, your revenue, the projects you have to move forward. What you have to think logically. But with a family, you have to think logically, like, I want my family to be okay, I need to be better, but you have to not think from your head, you have to feel in your heart, right? And so I think when it comes to your family, if you think with your head, you're dead. You have to really feel with your heart and when something's right. And so a lot of the times I trust you and you're like, I feel like this is right. And I trust you and your intuition, right?
Yeah.
And so if you feel like, you don't want to tell people about what's happening within your four walls, I trust that. Right. And obviously we can be transparent, but you're first time mom and you're trying to understand it. And it's like being on a treadmill for the first time running. And you're like, how do you feel? You're like, let me go through it. Then I'll tell you after. Right.
Yeah.
So I can respect that. But there's a lot of stuff going on in our lives. And how do you feel about, coming up to this moment where, you're going to be a mother? You've made a lot of money, you've had a lot of success, and you have your life set out ahead of you. How do you feel about all that coming together?
I guess it's funny in some way because I didn't spend my life fantasizing about being a mom. It's not like I had that big maternal drive, an instinct. And so I knew I did want to have a family. I knew that was important. I knew that at least for me, life would be boring. Like, what else are you going to do? How much can you travel? How much can you sit and watch all your Netflix shows, right? So I knew I always wanted to have a family, but I never fantasized about being a mom. And when you and I got together and we got closer and we had more experiences and we kind of revealed our true selves to one another and just how we handle crises and how we chase goals and how we, even through our faults, we still keep working with each other, on each other. It just made me appreciate you so much that I was like, what's our next adventure? And our next adventure is like having kids. Like, that excites me. I want to go through that adventure with you. I want to give you that experience. I want to be able to be the person that made you become a father. So that is kind of where my mind is at right now. And as I get closer to whatever this next chapter looks like, I'm just excited to become a leader. I'm excited to change and have to take care of something other than myself and what that does to me and how that changes me, how that changes you. I'm just excited to see the type of woman that this turns into. I don't know if that sounds, or the type of woman I turn into. I don't know if that sounds selfish, but that's kind of the most exciting part. I'm sure that will change once I see the baby and I have oxytocin flowing through my body. I'm like, oh my God, I love you. And you want to squish love them. They're so cute. I'm sure that will change. But as of right now, what's keeping me going is knowing that the next chapter is going to elevate me. And that's where I'm drawing my excitement. And then dressing a baby is kind of cute.
Yeah, yeah,
All the cute outfits.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think, I don't know. It's just it's a broad question. Like, and like, ask me again once a baby's born and my answer will change. Ask me tomorrow and my answer will change. I think that's what's kind of cool about it. There's no right way to do this or think about it or feel. And I don't think there are really words to justify it. Or maybe I have been avoiding it and not thinking about it very much because I'm just trying to survive right now. I don't know, but that's kind of half the reason we wanted to do this podcast, is to be vulnerable like this, to be transparent, to maybe think on the spot of things that we haven't. Even though we talk a lot and we talk a lot about deep things, talking about them on the fly is different.
Yeah, it's more real. It's authentic, right?
Yeah.
It's very authentic. We run a company. We're about to have a baby for the first time. We're in a relationship. And so we have so many things happening, right? So I think the biggest thing that we need to remember is that, and I want you to remember this too, is that I want you to always look after yourself. You come first. Because if you really don't, this is always plagued my mind, is that if I have to be in love with me, I have to generally look in the mirror and be like, I'm proud of that person, right? I have to be the person, like, I'm proud of the way he acted. I don't really act based on happiness or sadness, right? I don't wake up in the morning, I'm like, I'm happy, I'm gonna go run on the treadmill, I'm gonna go to work. I'm sad, I'm not running on the like, I don't really operate in that realm. I operate, am I proud of myself, right? And then in turn, when I act like I'm proud of myself, then I become happy. So I really need you to think like that too, right? And I need you to we have a community around us to help you. Like, I'm having a tough time. Can you look after the baby? I'm gonna go jump on the treadmill. I'm having a tough time. Like, you don't need to be an overbearing mom, right? Even though it may be your first time going through it, you don't need to be even overbearing business person. Let our
Yeah, I wonder.
let our employees do some of the work, right? Let people rise to the occasion. Because every time I've let somebody rise to the occasion, they have. And obviously we've had people disappoint us. And obviously you and I have been disappointed in each other in certain instances. But as long as you can communicate that, be like, I expected this and you acted this way, right? So I think the biggest thing in this journey is that you are on your best behavior. I was actually, before this podcast we started, I was having a conversation with one of our teammates, is I think we stopped being on our best behavior. At the beginning of our relationship, we're dating, we're wearing our best clothes, we're cleaning up, we're getting a haircut, and we're trying to be on our best behavior. What do you want from life? Oh, I want this, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then as we progress in life, we kind of stop being on our best behavior. And we start, being a little bit lazier, I'm a little bit more lax, and I'm more tired. I don't want to go on a date night. I don't want to do this, I don't want to make love. I'm tired, right? And I don't want to work hard. And I think you never forget that you have to be on your best behavior.
Yeah.
And it's not because for me or for you, it's not for me. You're on your best behavior for you, because your best behavior is gonna lead you to a life that you're proud of.
Yeah.
Right? If you're constantly a person like, I gotta exercise and wear my best clothes, right? And then people start treating you differently and we start getting more opportunities coming our way. And so I think the biggest thing that I wanna get across is, you're gonna have your baby, right? You're gonna be a mother, you're gonna do all these things, but don't forget who Madison was. Don't forget who you were. So many women get wrapped up in being a mother,
Yeah.
and then they lose their husband, and then they lose their career, and then they lose all these things, right? And a lot of men are like, oh, I want my woman to stay home, I want her to cook and clean and do all that stuff. And I know if I asked you to do that, you would. And I could provide that lifestyle for you, right? You don't need to work. I could look after you. But I've been around a lot of women who have worked, that haven't worked from home. And later on in life, when their kids grow up and they leave, they're really empty. For example, my mom, she was a stay-at-home mom. Lovely woman, awesome woman. I wouldn't be the person I am if it wasn't for her. But she says to me, she's, I could have had a career, I could have chased something, I could have done something while having you boys. She has all boys. And that hits me, because she's not saying that she wanted a career, she's saying that she wanted to also move something forward for herself.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Running a business is just a physical manifestation of you
Hmm.
and a physical manifestation of us. Our relationship together is a physical manifestation of each other, right? So I think, and you're very candid with me and you're very open with me, and we have this conversation a lot. The last door of life, death's door, you only open by yourself.
Yeah.
I don't open it with you. You may be very close, but death's door I open by myself, and I need to be proud of that person. I have to love me a lot more than I love you, out of respect for our relationship. And
Yeah.
I hope you don't forget that, right?
Yeah, I think that's maybe, we're always thinking about things that can get in our way and throw us off, right? We're always trying to prepare for the future. And in terms of a relationship, right? And you're like, okay, how do I avoid divorce, right? How do I combat something that happens in such a high percentage? And one of the things that we think about is, we are trying to grow money together, right? And it's not money for the sake of money. It's money to you and I signifies so much more, right? Like our ability to just increase our cash flow and our assets and build our bank accounts. It means we're smarter. It means we're learning lessons. It means we're failing more and then growing. It means we're adding more value to the world. It means we're employing more people. And all of that stuff turns us into who we want to be, who we're proud of, who we're comfortable with. And so I think that's kind of what a lot of relationships maybe are missing. It's they're not intentionally growing money together, right? I know a lot of couples that are trying to save money together, and a lot of couples that are good with money together and they budget well, but they're not trying to grow their wealth intentionally, maybe through entrepreneurship or side hustles or whatever way. They're just, 9 to 5, saving X% of their paycheck. And then I think that is a big thing. Like if you're not growing your money intentionally, to me, you're not growing your mind. At least to me, that's just how I equate the two.
Yeah, but I don't think about it in terms of money for me, and I know that that is a big predicator for success for you, and the big predicator for success for me is a combination of things. But I think it's just a mutual life outcome, right? And if I were to throw $1 billion on the table, right, you would still feel the same way. I want to grow my money, right? So
Yeah, it does never end.
it never ends in that sense. The thing is I'm trying to experience every single emotion a human can. And we are always avoiding things. They're like, I hate feeling sad, I hate feeling anxiety, I hate feeling stress. Like, bring it on. I want to feel every single emotion a man can and like deal with it regardless if it's happiness, sadness. I deal with it the same way. I'm strong. I'm still dedicated to my end vision. I'm so tired of people saying I'm full of anxiety and depression and this and that. Like, those are normal emotions. That's why they were given to us as animals. It's an indication of whether you are on the right life path. Guess what? When I'm sitting on the couch all day and I've eaten like shit and I've watched TV all day and done nothing, I feel anxiety and I feel stress. Because I didn't do the things that I promised myself that I would do.
Yeah.
That's what anxiety is. And then depression is that anxiety set over many years, many months.
Yeah.
So
Accumulation.
these indications of emotions in our body are telling us where we need to go. So I'm constantly, and the thing is I don't want to lose myself in money. I don't want to lose myself when it comes to outcomes. I don't want to lose myself when it comes to cars and clothes, and I don't want to lose myself in this. I'm trying to find the most distilled version of me. And I talk about this with you all the time. I am not a skin color. I am not a religion, right? I am not any of those things. I am me. I'm not even my name. My parents just gave me that name.
Yeah.
So my goal is to just find that version of me that feels amazing. And I feel amazing when I am exercising. I feel amazing when I'm building things. And I feel
So what about people who are listening and they are resonating and they want the same thing? How do you know, like, when things are going wrong, when you don't feel like doing things, and you feel like shit? How do you know that you are on track to being the best version of you instead of repeating another year being in the same spot?
I got that question. Actually, my mom asked me that question once. And everybody's so different because we're so sensitive. If you say that you shouldn't have depression, you shouldn't have anxiety, people flare up like, you don't tell me how to feel, right? And I get that and I respect that. So I'm not trying to tell you not to feel bad things, because we all have shitty things. We've all lost people we've loved. We've all lost, things we've invested a lot of energy and time into. Maddie and I have lost millions of dollars when COVID hit in our businesses. So definitely I felt deep pains. And
The baby felt that one.
yeah,
Baby's resonating with that.
good. My baby feels me. The biggest thing I would say is always move. And
Physically move.
Physically move. Whenever I feel overwhelmed, whenever I feel whelmed.
We don't say overwhelmed in our family.
In our family, we don't say overwhelmed. We say whelmed.
I'm feeling very whelmed today.
I'm feeling very whelmed. We don't say overwhelmed, because if you're overwhelmed, that means you're dead. I feel very whelmed. I exercise. I get the blood flow moving, and I get movement. And I feel like we are all navigating a relationship in life. That's why they call it a relationship. I'm navigating a relationship with myself. And if I'm sitting in stagnant waters, nothing grows except for bacteria and unhealthy bacteria. So the life is like a river. So I have to keep moving forward. So if I don't know how to move forward in my business or our relationship, I just exercise. And every single time I've exercised and every single time I ran on the treadmill till I sweat, till I'm exhausted, I feel better. I feel so much better that it affects every single area of my life. So if your life is not good or you are not happy, exercise and you will naturally figure out a solution. I have never met one person that has, I can promise you you'll make $1 million and then you'll feel the same way you do. Mm-hmm. I can promise you that you'll have amazing relationship like we do, and eventually all those bad emotions come up. I can promise you that if you focus on your health, a lot of problems in your life will get fixed. I can promise you that.
Yeah, you said something interesting the other day, and it did hit pretty hard. It was like, we asked each other, are you in love with me? Right? And to me, I don't know, I don't really feel anything when I, like, that to me is not heartfelt, saying I'm in love with you. Like, that does not convey how I feel about you. I don't think there's a word in the English dictionary that can encompass everything that we've been through and the amount of respect and the amount of gratitude I have for you. So love and in love just doesn't resonate with me. I'm still trying to find the words. But my point being, what you said was, you can only be truly in love, right? Like, what is being in love? It's like knowing somebody, respecting, it's a lot of things. You can only truly be in love with one person. And if you're going to put that on the other person or somebody outside of you, like, what's left for you? And so if we are working on being in love, staying in love, loving life, it starts with, you have to be in love with yourself. Mm-hmm. And you can only save that love for yourself. And what we have, like, I do resonate with saying, be in love with yourself. That makes more sense than me saying I'm in love with you. And so I think that's such a cool perspective shift, right? Like, can you say you're in love with yourself? Like, that's kind of cool to think of, okay, if I don't feel that way, how can I make myself feel that way? I think that's a cool kind of little nudge or trick to think of, to talk to yourself.
And out of respect for you and our relationship, I do love you, but I don't think I can ever be in love with you. And out of respect, and I know some men will really resonate with this. When a woman breaks your heart, it changes you forever. Like, when you get screwed over by a woman that you invest so much into, it just changes you forever. And I'm the type of person that learns from pain. I'm not a smart person. I have to bang my head against a wall so many times. And when I was in a relationship and I was in love with a woman, I'd be anticipating her moves. I'm like, she wants flowers. Oh, she feels like this. I need to say this. Oh, she's like this. I need to do this. So I'd be anticipating my woman's moves. And then she would disrespect me. She would treat me the wrong way. And I'm like, but I'm in love with you. How can you treat me that way if I'm in love with you? And after you get your heart stomped on and you get shit on, you don't love somebody the same way again. It's not because you're bitter. If you got to be smart about life, you can't be cynical. We avoid cynical people. I realized that I needed to be in love with myself. I didn't need to be anticipating your moves. I need to be anticipating my moves. Oh, when Ryan starts acting like this, he gets in a negative spiral. Mm-hmm. Make sure you do this for yourself. Mm-hmm. Right? And I can't be person attached again. I love you, and I would be distraught if you were to leave my world. Like, in terms of leaving, you're not ever leaving me as a woman. We're staying married forever. But I'm talking about, like, if you were to leave this life, I'd be distraught. But I'm not attached. I'd still be okay because I have me. Yeah. I'll always be okay if I have me. But I can never be in love with you. I can only be in love with one person at a time, and it's gonna be me.
Yeah.
And it's only gonna be me. I'm only gonna anticipate my moves. And I talk about this a lot, is you are a glass. And you can only be negative or positive. And that glass, you can pour into it as much positivity as you want, and then it overflows and affects other people. Or you can be negative and you can pour into it and it affects other people. So I choose to focus on me so much that my positivity that affects you. And that's a huge learning lesson for me. And it happened from getting your heart broken as a man, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a very
I think
deep
that's
thing.
something that allows us to communicate very well, because we come from a place of I am in this relationship, you are in this relationship, and we're on the same side of the relationship, right? It's not like I'm on my side, you're on your side. It's like we want the marriage to be successful. We want our lives to be successful. And so there's no right or wrong. There's just, what are we going to do to move forward, right? And I think a lot of people miss out on that fact simply because they think that, like, what's in it for me? Right? What am I getting out of this relationship? When have you complimented me last? When have I gotten a break? When have you done something special for me? And I just think that's not conducive to what people really want long term. Like, where do you want to be when you're 90 years old, in bed, you can barely move? Like, I want to look at you next to me with, like, walkers, and we've got, like, commodes in the bathroom because we can't sit well. Like, we're just falling apart. And we just have wrinkly smiles at each other because it's like, we did life together.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we just did life together. And it wasn't like, we weren't romantic for all the 60 years we were together. We didn't get along for all the 60 years, but we built something, and we personally grew, and we overcame, and now we're wrinkly and we're still by each other's side. And I think that's so cool. And I don't think there's very many people that don't want that. I think we just lose sight of, how do you actually achieve that? Like, how do you actually spend 50 years with one person?
Very tough conversations. And by tough conversations, I think this podcast needs to come to an end as well. So
I'm smiling whenever you talk, because I'm like, we're still finding our podcast groove. I'm like, this is interesting. We're figuring it out. What are you saying? What's your groove? What's my groove? So yeah, I'm smiling because I'm like, this will get better. It'll get better.
So how would you want to end it off? What do you want to say?
What do I want to say? Well, I think that was, so last time we rated ourselves, and it was a 2 out of 10. That's what we said. And then we promised that this one would be a 3 out of 10. So I think it's a 3 out of 10. Did you agree?
Well, actually, now giving it some thought, I don't want to rate it. I actually just want to say that we tried. And that's everything. Like, remember when we first started our business? We were young kids, and we took out this huge loan, and we just tried. Right. And then, we were trying to start $100 million, acquire $100 million, and then we're just trying. Right. And so I don't want to rate it. I'm like, at least we just keep trying. Yeah. Right. And then, but yeah, it's definitely more than a 3 out of 10. So
cool. We're progressing. Yeah. But yeah, that's a little glimpse into us, guys. Stick around, see how we progress, see what we can teach you, what you can teach us. And we'll I'm excited. Be back, and hopefully this one recorded.
Yeah. Hopefully Noah got it this time. Noah's our camera guy. Yeah, he's giving us one of these. But thank you guys for tuning into the first one, and we're excited to have you.